gonna check our levels. Are you comfortable? You need anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I like these tables. They're nice.
Thank you.
Made for you?
They are a local artist made them. It's driftwood from the Crown Memorial Beach or the Alameda Beach.
Oh, okay.
I was driving down the street and I saw they were having like a yard sale. So I stopped and I bought the tables and the little... And then Sandy was here the other day and she was like...
a coaster?
Yep.
So I should be putting that there?
Oh, you don't have to.
And I noticed you don't have yours there. So.
I know. But I have them.
Okay.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Why do you get earphones and I don't? I'm just talking.
Just to keep the levels. I eventually will have earphones for both people. You know, just buy more equipment.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So actually, I just want to make sure. Give me a little. How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, good.
I'll try not to yell any louder than this.
Oh no, you don't have. The mics are pretty good.
Okay.
They're pretty sensitive. But I just want to make sure everyone gets to hear you and all the important things you say.
Oof. All right.
All right.
Oh my.
We are ready. All right, so welcome to this week's episode of Ducking Reality. In the house today, we have my friend Karen. Karen Beckles is a Reiki master, a life coach, and a big fan of essential oils. Do you have a certificate or certified in essential oils or just a big fan?
An online certificate.
Nice.
And a big fan, a huge advocate for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we met through the Feathered Outlaw, which is the shop that you work mostly out of. Do you have your own?
Well, yes, it's my own business. I'm independent. However, I am Feathered Outlaw's wellness practitioner, and a little over a year now. So that's what really helped me to launch, the Reiki.
Yeah, because I don't know how long you've been practicing Reiki, and you're in which? Because there's different types of Reiki, correct?
This is a Sui.
A Sui Reiki.
Okay. Yeah, this is so my lineage is Dr. Mikao Usui, and that's the one I practice and teach.
Oh, nice. All right, so tell us a little bit about you, Karen. Like, are you from the Bay? How did you get into your Reiki? Give us your kind of origin story of who you are.
That's a long story.
Oh, we got time.
All right, I'm glad you said that. So, I'm from New York.
Oh, sweet.
Was born and raised in Jamaica, Queens. All my life. I don't know what else to say about that. I love New York, born and raised, always claiming it. But I left there in 1994, lived in Miami, Florida for about 8 years. That was awesome. But I've been here since 2000. Mm-hmm. So California is my home as well. I'm not original, but it is my home. Mm-hmm. So you said my origin story. I was a correctional officer in New York. But first of all, I have a brother. He's older than me. And my father was a correctional officer on Rikers Island. And I never thought of myself doing anything else. I know that sounds odd, but I knew law enforcement somewhere. And I had two choices: New York City Police, New York City's finest, or New York City Corrections, New York City's boldest. And I passed both of them, and I chose corrections. So I started on Rikers Island.
Wow.
Yeah, at the tender age of 23.
Shit.
No one should be law enforcement or working in the prison at 23.
No one. So young.
So I was there for a couple of years, and
Rikers Island is not an easy place.
No, it is not, especially being 23. And I worked at the house detention for men. That's where they sent me after the academy. It was the at the time the worst of the jails on the island. The most challenging, I should say. And my memories from there are it's not a whole lot of memories, except for they transferred me right when I was going to quit. I was like, okay, I don't know if I could do this, because it was dangerous. It was nonstop stuff going on, and all I remember was thinking, like, why am I here? And then they transferred me to the women's house, which honestly was just as chaotic, but a little different, because I felt like maybe the same playing field, I always felt like, well, I'll give a guy a run for their money, but a woman, I'm whipping their ass. That's what I always thought. However, I didn't sleep on them either because I came to find that they may actually be even more dangerous, it's inside and out, that, women are just more calculating, more patient, and, there's a lot I can say about them.
Because I was going to say 23-year-old kind of hot Karen in the men's. Oh, like I'm feeling like that's a dangerous place for you. Well, because of the physical intimidation is more, but like the women, I would think is the more mental, conniving kind of shit. Like
yes,
that you have to be careful of because you don't know which. If they're being sweet or they're being manipulative.
Yes.
Where with a guy, you're kind of like, well, you're going to hugely just punch me in the face. Like,
yes. Especially because I've always been, I'm gay. I've always been like masculine centered. And the men, I didn't have to worry about them like, they didn't hit on me or anything like that. The women's prison, jail, oh my God. Like, I was 23, I thought I was all that anyway. And yeah, they come at you hard, for to get your attention, as well as just very manipulative, really conniving, I don't know what to say about that. But I didn't stay there long either. I had a lot of different things going on. I don't know if I would have had a whole career there. Now that I'm thinking about it, I left there after the whole time at Rikers was less than 3 years. I had a lot of things going on. My mother was ill, my uncle, and being young, it all took me by storm, and I wound up leaving there. My next stint was immigration. So I was La Migra.
Oh.
This was at a time when it was Immigration and Naturalization Service, as opposed to ICE now.
Yeah.
And that was a great career.
So what were you doing for them? Were you like enforcement or were you like helping people get their immigration?
Oh, yeah, there you go. So, of course, I was in corrections with Rikers, and so I went to detention, which was detaining undocumented individuals. And in New York, it's funny because I was that in New York and Miami, Florida. And I guess the difference would be just which country they were from. In New York is when I realized we're more than Puerto Ricans and Dominican Republicans. I thought, growing up, you thinking those are the only people and it was people from all over the world, And so, my job was to enforce the detention of them. And in New York, it was a little bit of traveling, deportation, but I didn't want any parts of that. I don't like flying, so I never took any trips out of the country. It was a lot of stuff like to the airport and court or something. But when I went to Florida, that was a little bit more of, again, this was a big detention center and people all over the world again, and enforcing their deportation. So there were times I was able to travel, to take them back to their country, some willingly, some not willingly. So I guess I should also say that we'll get into that probably. My whole career or my whole life has been in conflict, professionally and morally, and not until I retired that I realized, and that was through therapy. Everyone should have therapy.
Amen.
That I realized, I've been in conflict. Like, oh yes, professional, I can do my job, enforce detention and deportation. Then the other part of me is like, well, why can't they stay? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge. And in my career here at the Federal Bureau of Prisons in California. And so altogether, it's been almost 25 years law enforcement.
Wow.
I don't know. Is this the point I'm supposed to say how I got into Reiki?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say I had no idea that you were in corrections before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's such a kind of, because I know a bunch of guys that have worked in corrections and here and when I lived in upstate New York. So I lived in Greene County where we had Greene County and Coxsackie Correctional.
Yeah.
So we had two prisons. That was what the town was known for. prisons and the
Yes.
Coxsackie virus.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Like, because I don't know that county.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, okay.
Yeah, so we had 2 maximum security prisons in town. So I knew a lot of guys that worked there.
Yeah.
And a couple of the girls I knew worked in the office and stuff like that. So I would talk to them, and like their vibe and your vibe is so totally different.
It's totally different. Yeah.
And maybe that's because you've been retired for a little bit.
Yeah.
But
no,
also
you know
I
what's
feel
funny?
like you are who you are.
This is my vibe, right?
Yeah.
So I remember when I first started working on Rikers, well, I should say when I first, because the house detention for men, the incarcerated male did not, I don't recall any conversations with them. It was always, it seemed like on pins and needle about your life and what's going to happen. But I remember going to the women's house, and there and immigration and the Federal Bureau of Prisons, I've always been told, oh, you're going to change. You're going to change. And I said, no, I don't think I am. And the only ways that I've changed is I've grown. I've grown even more human. My goal was to just always be myself. And, I've seen it on TV, how people are. And I'm like, it can't be like that. And, I'm thankful for the opportunity to say that in that setting, I've met some incredible incarcerated individuals. I don't want anyone to think that, oh my, it's like Orange is the New Black or whatever, everyone is not the same, and so for me, my entire career has been based off of, I will give you respect. And I'm sure in turn, you'll give it to me, and not you give it to me first.
Right.
I gave it. I was always human. And the other thing is, I never thought it couldn't happen to me. And I think that's a key thing, because I can say many, many law enforcement officers I've met, and a lot of people think or don't think about it at all. They think it can't be them.
Right.
That we're so above everything, and we've got such a grip on life that nothing could ever happen. And I'm from New York. Your life can change in a matter of a second, So I never thought it couldn't be me or a family member. So I've got family, that have that were incarcerated. So for me, I'm going to treat the person the way I'd want someone to treat my family member. And it started on Rikers: fair, firm, and consistent. Just be that.
Right.
If you can't be anything else, be that. Being that allows you to be even a little bit human. So I managed to be that my entire career, and I never changed. And I love talking about the day I retired. It was the day after my 50th birthday from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and it was great, of course. My best friend that works there, she had a big retirement thing for me at the prison. It was great. Staff was there. They talked about me. It was great. But the best moment was when I was leaving, and it was being held in the chapel. And I was leaving the chapel, and it was a line of incarcerated women waiting to say goodbye to me. That was probably the best experience ever, because, you're not supposed to come in contact. You're not supposed to feel all these things. And, I think part of the reason I can come out and be the way I am is because I didn't just cut myself off. There's a distance. There's, professionalism that you're upholding, but I still saw people, and we're proud of those that I saw improve, or always wish the best for them. So leaving, I shook everybody's hand on the way out the door, and the fact that those people waiting to do that was like, wow, it made me feel really good. It made me feel like I had done my job all those years. There's a saying, well, if they like you, you're not doing your job. No, if they like you, you are doing your job. That depends on how you want to look at it. I feel like if they don't like you, you're probably not doing your job, because that means they don't respect you,
Right.
And I will say I had an amazing career. I was well respected, well liked, and I was just me. So when you think of what I do now, I struggled with it after I retired. It's been about almost 8 years now. And you get to a point where you're thinking, okay, so who am I? Well, see, that's a whole nother story. I can tell all about retirement too, because that was a struggle, which what led me here. Yeah.
So is that how you kind of, because I have a friend who she just retired and she's having a kind of a hard time with it, because she's like, now what do I do? And she's finding little things, but she's like, I don't have an overall purpose.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, then let's find you a purpose. Like, do something. Like, don't just sit around, because I'm a firm believer that it's never too late to change your life.
Right.
It might be scary. It's going to be hard. But as long as like you kind of have that in your forefront, like, I'm going to be scared. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be like times where I'm like, this is not worth it. But if I can push through that, it will be worth it. And like, I think we have to admit sometimes that there's like the hard time that's going to come with that. Because I think people don't talk about that. They're like, oh, well, I changed my life and it's been wonderful. Okay, but before you got to that point, there was a point where it was hard and it was miserable and you're probably lonely and you're probably sad. But if you can fight through that and know that it will get better, then you get to that point that's like sunshine and roses.
Yes.
But it's like, I think we don't talk about that bad part enough, because that's the part people I think get stuck in and they go back to what they're comfortable in. And I think we have to be like, okay, but go suffer through that part. Yeah. Because like if you're suffering in your everyday life and you're like, all right, now I'm going to change. It's that scary part, is that unknown part where people will retreat back into what they know. That's why you go back with that ex. That's why you go back to that job you hated. It's because that scary part gets to be almost overwhelming. So how did you manage to push through that?
That's a really good question and good stuff. I mean, God, I wish everyone thought like that, right? Because like, I'll take it as far as being a correctional officer, but it's like that just in life in general, because we grow up, find a great job and you stay there forever, right? And everything is fine. And then you wait to retire and life is even greater. But I wish I had planned better before I retired, and financially I could have done a lot better too. I really retired like I'm out of here. And that was probably not the best decision. However, I tell people now, like I said, my best friend is still there. And I say, oh my goodness, first of all, leave when you can. Like there's the Bureau of Prisons, you can retire at 50 after 20 years or any age after 25 years. That's why I was able to retire at 50. Or you can stay till 57. So that maxes out. And now you have to retire. I think most people stay there because you can get unemployment then. And your retirement. Yeah, I didn't want all that. The day after my 50th birthday, it gave me 20 years with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And I left. And I thought it was going to be great. But the next day, I remember thinking, okay, what do I do now, right? And I was like, I don't have to do anything. I'm good. But like I was institutionalized as well, right? And I don't think we realize that when we're working in that environment or any environment, we have a routine. There are things we're expected to do, to show up, to do, that our life, that becomes our life. And so if I could have done it differently, or if I could tell people now, it would be, first of all, never lose yourself in the job, right? Like if you don't like it, like really don't like it, and there's a lot of people in law enforcement that don't like it, yeah, you need to find another job. Like for real, go find another job, because you're just making it difficult for other people. But also, it's your birthright. Find something you enjoy doing. Like it's out there. And it's not about money, because if you're doing what you enjoy, the byproduct is the money that the universe will provide, However, once you get close to retirement, hopefully you've lived a certain way where you've really taken care of yourself. But if you haven't, you start thinking about it. Okay, what do I want to do in retirement? Start doing it before you retire. What do I want to do? Do I want to work? Do I want to have a hobby? Do I want to travel? Like really think about what it is you want to do and do that. I didn't really have a plan except I didn't want to work for anyone else. So what was I going to do? I figured I would do anything that was something of the independent contractor thing or whatever.
You'd find your hustle.
Yeah. And so I started doing insurance. I won't name the company, but which was really good. I don't have any regrets of anything. I've learned so much in everything. But it wasn't my passion, but I was dedicated to it. I learned a lot. When you're in these what do you call them, network marketing things, they teach you a lot, and so I learned a lot. But it wasn't enough for still the retirement. I still I think I lost my shit when I left, when I retired. It was like, who am I? Was that person really me? Which was really odd because I knew it was me. I mean, the way you see me now is how I showed up to work every day. The mood changed if something happened, but this was me. But now I had to find out who I was on the outside. And I don't know, that took a lot out of me. I found that people weren't as nice, right? Especially in these network marketing things. Everyone has an agenda. Everyone has something. You have some people that, no, I'm doing this because I love it, whether it be selling essential oils or whether it be insurance. It's really about the person and protecting the family. And then there are those people that see the money. And so now they're selling you something. And if you're on their team, then they're trying to make you out to be someone, they're trying to mold you. And I don't know, it's hard to find those that are really genuine. And I pride myself on being really genuine. And so that whole thing, take kindness for weakness, popped up a lot in my retirement. And I wasn't nearly, I was vocal, but not nearly as vocal as I am now. I'm vocal now to the sense that before we get there, you're going to know who you're dealing with. Whereas before, I let things happen. So when it came to a close, I'd blow up. And then they're like, oh my God, where'd this come from? Well, you weren't the nicest person to me, Right. You didn't help me to support me. You just took advantage of me. So anyway, long story short, how did I get here? I believe I've been doing this all my life. It took a long time to say it because I was thinking, oh, it's my ego. But it's not. I met a lot of people in my correctional career, and I had a lot of great conversations, and I believed I helped change a lot of lives. A lot of those women that, like I said, I shook their hand on the way out, I follow them on social media. They're doing amazing. Awesome. Oh my goodness, they either work for great companies or they are the company, and I think a lot of it had to do with the conversations. I wasn't the person to just tell someone what to do. Tell me a story. I heard a lot of stories, and I always have a story. So I was known for, if it'll help you, I'll tell you. Right. And a lot of people I worked with was like, oh, you're giving them too much personal information. It's an experience. I didn't give them my address and say, come over, Right. I'm telling you what I went through as a child or what I went through in this particular situation that challenged me. And so I think my whole life, I wanted to make a difference, to make an impact. And so that's the communication, and that's the sharing of the story or reaching out to people. And then the biggest part is my mother, right? I was really, really close to my mother. And my father, but my mother in particular was my everything. And she had lupus, systemic lupus erythematosus. And it was at a time that there's still no cure. No, that's what they say anyway. But this was a time of using people as guinea pigs. Oh. And she wasn't supposed to live past 30. She was diagnosed very early when she was young. She was told she shouldn't have kids, but she did. She had me and my brother. And but as long as I was alive, she was in pain every day. Every single day, had just taken a whole bunch of medication. And I remember as a kid, I'd always put my hands on her, tell it was going to make her feel better. I was taking her pain, which segues over to something else. When I said I was going to take her pain, I believe I did. And so I think I really believe there's power in our words.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to take it so bad that I also have several autoimmune diseases, right? Like a lot.
Right.
I don't even name them anymore. I don't have lupus though, although I've been misdiagnosed a few times. But my mother was in pain so much that, and then of course she ultimately died when she was 50. And so power in words. So it goes to why I'm here. My father also died at 50, 8 months after my mother, which is why I left New York. I was like, I'm out of here. And I had been fearful of 50 for years. Like, oh my God, I don't want to die at 50. So I worked at the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And at 49, I had a heart attack.
Oh.
I had just celebrated my 49th birthday. And I remember thinking, oh boy, if I could just get past 50. And I had a heart attack. I was like, really? And I had 2 mild ones after that. But I think it was like really on me. And again, I went to therapy. And I don't say that anymore. And I used to say, yeah, after my heart attack, I don't say my anymore. It's not mine. I'm not claiming it. And it's been years now. I'll be 58 in May. And yeah, I feel amazing. But anyway, so my mother wanted to really help her and couldn't. So on March 23rd, 2013, I remember the date, a friend of mine introduced me to essential oils. Hey, come to this. It was a essential oil, the essential oils of ancient scripture.
Ooh.
And I was like, really? Okay. I was just going to support her. I was like, whatever. And I went and oh my God, it wasn't even what they were saying. I was able to put on every essential oil that they had. It was 12 of them. I can't name them now, but frankincense, rose of Sharon, myrrh, sandalwood. And I tried them all on and my life changed. It has not been a day since then that I don't have on essential oil. Ingesting one, diffusing one, applying it, it has changed my life. And I remember thinking, wow, if I knew this with my mother, right, it probably would have given some type of relief, because I believe that when you're in a lot of pain, even a few minutes without, right? And so anyways, I've been doing that for years. And then Reiki. So Reiki came. Reiki, I believe, finds you, right? So I used to think that it found me in 2014. It really didn't. So 2014, that was when I had the heart attack. And this guy I worked with is my first master teacher. He told me about it. And I was like, okay. And I remember him being on a post in a housing area. And I was in the control center. And I wasn't feeling well. He said, can I send you some energy? I was like, all right. And he did. And I was like, okay. And I felt better. So after the heart, and I actually felt him. And I was like, wow. So
You mean like you guys are in different parts of the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like way across the other side of the institution. I was somewhere else. And I felt the energy. I felt better. And then he, after the heart attack, he says, I'd like to give you a session. And I was like, okay. And the session was amazing. It was life-changing. And he told me, well, this could help you physically. I can teach you how to self-heal yourself. And I was like, okay. So my first encounter, it wasn't like a class. He literally told me a few things, gave me an attunement, and told me what to do. And I was like, all right. So I did that for a while. And it was very helpful. But I was thinking of it more so physically. And as much as I was doing it, I didn't think it was healing me physically. There were times I felt better, but I didn't really get it. And, but I kept on. But now when the Reiki come for me, it found me right before right before COVID, maybe a few months before that. And I decided, and it used to always come up in tarot card readings, numerology. Oh, it looks like you should be into healing, have a healing practice. I don't know, Reiki comes out. I'm like, Reiki, really? And so I decided to start from the beginning, and I did level 1, and I realized it's more than a physical healing. It was like, wow. So the physical healing is the byproduct of everything else, because the physical symptoms it's a symptom of what's really going on beneath the surface, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And so level 1 was like all about me. After that, I dived in, like really dived in. So it's been a few years now, and it was never my desire to practice on others, except for family, friends, and it was never my desire to teach it. I was like, really? But I cannot help it. I have to share it. For myself, it's a practice. It has it helped me come to terms after all those years about being a correction officer, about the moral and professional struggle I was having, my temper. I have a horrible temper.
You do?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, I guess you do have that New York blood. Like, I'm good until, and then I'll cut you. Like,
yeah. I have. It was hard for me to say before. I used to keep it separate, but it's not separate because it's still there. I just manage it now. It doesn't manage me. It used to just take over me. I've got one of the worst tempers imaginable.
Wow.
Like, I used to call it the beast, right? So the Reiki practice helped me
tame the beast.
To tame the beast. And to really manage my physical health, my mental, spiritual, just everything. I have a whole practice with it that helps me to maintain this vibration that I look for myself. It's like what you said. We have choices. Like, you can choose to stay in this job and it sucks. You can choose to get up and I don't know what to do, or you can do something. Because even the way I am now, I'm often asked, "Oh, you like this every day?" No, right. Like, I work at it. Like, there are some mornings, especially during this rain, or this winter, people talk about depression and anxiety, and I had no clue what that really meant. Like, I would say there've been times in my life I've been depressed, grief, but that's not depression, right? But I think being law enforcement, corrections, it's almost like you're not supposed to have emotions, so you store them away. So identifying them, feeling them, you're not going to do it. So only thing I knew was anger and I don't know.
Happiness.
Yeah, happiness, And so, I didn't know what to call it. And people talk about anxiety a lot. I'm like, anxiety. And, my friend Leah, I think it's last year, as I'm preparing for these Reiki classes, I always wait till the last minute. And then I want to change this. I want to change that. And she said, that's anxiety, right? I said, girl, please. I mean, it's not how other people explain it,
Right.
She says, no, that's anxiety. Your procrastination is anxiety. The way you keep changing everything. And I was like, wait a minute. And so now I can identify. I'm like, yeah, oh, wow. I didn't know. And so depression, I didn't know. But yeah, I experienced that too. Like, wow. Like, there are some mornings, especially recently, like, I've gotten up like, oh, God, like, just so heavy. But the Reiki practice, or just my spiritual practice, enables me to say, okay, wait a minute. So, are you going to stay in bed? Are you going to stay in bed and just feel this? Because you don't have to. And I say, oh, that's right, I don't. So the practice is, all right, well, first of all, my blinds are wide open. When it's light out, the light comes in. Because I think if I had to wake up to darkness, I think that would hurt too. So I wake up to the bright light, and then I decide to get up out of bed. Okay, I get up. So if I get up, then I move around and I go get the coffee. I post a lot of videos where I'm walking. Yes, I get out, I walk to Feathered Outlaw, and then I run into people. Especially at Feathered Outlaw, I might run into you or Sandy, and then Marie, everybody, Ash. It's like, okay, now I'm coming up, right? But if I'm not doing any of that, I get on the phone and call a friend, something, music, a stupid comedy, but to actively participate in my life. What do I want to feel? And I keep doing things, little things, until I'm feeling better. Right. And then I'm back.
Because what I've now realized is each one of those things is changing the vibration that you're operating at. And because everything is energy, everything's on a vibration. So like if one thing doesn't work, then try something else. Because sometimes it takes like calling a friend or going for a walk or the music or, okay, that music's not doing it for me. Let me try this music. Okay, that one's not doing it. Yes. Fuck it. Let me turn on like my favorite TV show of whatever the comedy is.
Yes.
Like something because then it changes the vibration at which you're reacting to.
Yes.
And like, so in some days because I have terrible anxiety and depression. I have social anxiety I always had. And then after my injury, I didn't leave my house for a while. And when you don't interact with people, like going back, it's almost, I think some people can kind of understand it with the pandemic when they didn't leave the house for a little bit. And then they're like, I don't even remember how to be back out in public.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you got to get over that fear and keep that kind of at bay when you have terrible social anxiety. You have to go out all the time to keep that kind of practice going. Mm-hmm. But when you can't, it's like, if you have a day where you have to give into the sadness, like don't beat yourself up. Say like, all right, today I'm going to feel it all. I'm just going to be this sad person. But then tomorrow I'm going to get back up and try either my regular daily routine or something. Yes. But it's like acknowledging the vibration you're at and then knowing like, all right, how do I change it? And if one thing doesn't work, I have 6 other things I can pull from.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When people say, excuse me, vibrate higher, like it's a real thing. People think, oh, it's just a saying. But it really is. We're operating at a particular frequency that it's up to us to raise it. Don't let it lower, but raise it. One of the biggest things like during the pandemic was that was the other thing. I work at Trader Joe's. And I said when I retired, I'm going to work at Trader Joe's because it seems fun. And I didn't do that.
Oh.
It took me 3 years. And I finally was like, okay, let me go there. Excuse me. And oh my God, I had an amazing time. It's the one at South Shore. And our captain, the people I worked with, it was young people, older people. And I get along so well. Those are my people. The young people are my people. And the captain there, like, it helped me to keep my vibration high, to be there for other people that wasn't handling the pandemic as well. Again, not what I can't do, choosing to find things that I can do. Walking, hiking, I feel blessed that was able to show up at work every day. And then there was those days, I'd go to my car on a break and watch I Love Lucy or Carol Burnett. I love them, but like you said, actively working to raise my vibration, because if you can do that, there are things that's going to happen. People that's going to come, it's going to match your vibration. Mm-hmm. And that's what helps. However, like you said, there are moments that, okay, you know what? I really do just want to stay in bed today. Like, I'm okay with that. But again, having these conversations with ourselves, because I don't want to stay in bed, so I'm working to get out of bed. But there are days I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sleep all day. Because sometimes you just got to listen to your body, because your body will tell you what it needs, and so
I like that you just said that you had this thought about like, I'm going to work at Trader Joe's because it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, you were still like, I still want to do that.
Yeah.
And then you did it. Because there are those things that are going to pop up in your life that you're going to be like, that's such a random, like, why do I want to kind of even do that? And then you're like, I guess I should probably do it. Because it keeps coming to you.
I think with people in law enforcement, they or any job really, if you retire and you're going to work again, they usually go within that field, right? A lot of law enforcement, they are bouncers, they're security, I was like, I'm not doing security, right? Somebody told me one day, well, if you go to Kaiser, they're hiring security. I don't want to be security. And not that I'm not, I'm not saying anything bad about security, but especially when you've been in law enforcement before, you will never be just security.
Right.
So now your stress level is even higher because there's so much to weigh. And it took me so long to get to Trader Joe's because I didn't want to work for someone else. And I think I forgot. And this was during my period of trying to rediscover who I was. And I wound up helping a friend with a business and helped them out. But in the midst of it all, like, my whole life crumbled. And that's even a longer story. My whole life crumbled. Like, oh my God, I don't even know what happened. I lost control of everything. I was evicted from my apartment. My car was repoed. Like, wow, I went to go live with a friend. And I just like lost myself, in this hustle. I have a pension from the Bureau of Prisons, which I'm very grateful for it. Don't want to say I'm not, but there's no way that I could not work.
Right.
And yeah, so I was like, okay. So when I finally, I've had several moments, and there was a moment before where there's a Napoleon Hill quote that I love, and let's see, paraphrase. Basically, for every obstacle, adversity, heartbreak, there lies in it a seed of benefit of greater or equal value. And I said that, and then I heard a little voice that said, if you look for it. And I'm like, if you look for it. And I'll tell you, ever since that day, I look for it because I believe that everything happens for a reason, right? It doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And so I look for it. So when I look back on everything, even when my life crumbled, total darkness, I didn't know how I was going to come out of it. I wouldn't change a thing. I look back, and if anyone that's feeling something can just stop and think about all the things that have happened and what happened next, everything was trying to guide you, and whether you allowed it to or not. But the best part is, once you've experienced something and you get it, like, oh, wow, I got it. Like, you won't go through it again. And then it'll be the next lesson, the next thing. I describe life like a video game. Like, I love video games. I haven't played them in a while because they can consume me. But, I tell my two sons all the time, like, think about it like you're playing a video game. When you're finding tools along the way, there are resources, there are people that you're supposed to talk to. You ever get to a point and you can't go beyond because the guy in the red hat you didn't talk to, so you go back. So if you're paying attention, then you won't miss these things. You won't miss the conversations you're supposed to have, this tool that you need. All of these things are guiding us to where we need to go. And so it's all of those resources. It's our intuition. And it sounds so simple, but it really is. And it's unfortunate that we get to, like, for me, I always say, I'm 57. Really? Like, if I had got this earlier, right? So like a lot of my young people, I say, oh my goodness, you guys in your 20s, 30s, if you can get this now, oh, life is golden. Like, I preach and practice your intuition. Your intuition is everything. Don't ever well, I've got this feeling about this. I probably shouldn't do it. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. Don't ever do that. And it's hard. And that's even like with people you meet, relationships. You might think, well, I did see that, but we can get around it. No, Stop, retreat, run away, but to really listen to our intuition because it's going to guide us. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? I mean, it, like you just said, it's so hard, but it's also so not. Like, why do you have an opinion on why people do? Because I can think of every point in my life where I had the feeling of I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to because of this. That the universe has then kicked my ass in a way.
Yeah.
Because they were like, okay, well, we told you, like, we had your intuition tell you, we gave you this little lesson, we gave you this hint or flag, and now we're just gonna run you over.
Yeah, it's the truth.
But that's what happens. Like, I can think of every point in my life where I made the wrong, I went against my intuition, and then I can look back and see the little flags, and then I'm like, all right, then this big thing happened to shift it because I wasn't listening to anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I got hurt because I wasn't listening to all these things. Like, And maybe that's not the reason, but it is in my gut makes the
Yeah.
most sense. And in my spirit, it's like, oh yeah, because the universe kept trying to tell me I was on the wrong path.
Yeah.
And my intuition kept telling me, but I kept saying like, I know better.
Yeah.
Like, do you have an opinion on why we do that? Or how to learn not to do it, I guess, is probably the bigger.
Yeah. So, honestly, Reiki has helped me to not do that even more. So with Reiki, I'm given a session for their highest and greatest good, and I'm not attached to the outcome, right? So you detach yourself from the outcome. So you're just hoping that the best for the person. So to try to stay detached from what's happening, to be in this moment, to just you just have to trust yourself. Let's see now. Hold on. I'm getting away from which was I started thinking about all the things because I keep saying Reiki. And it is Reiki. It's the principles that come in Reiki. It's the 4 agreements. It's the serenity prayer. All of these things I think really help me to stay where I need to be with myself, where you're really aware and you can recognize certain things. And I think you have to build that trust in yourself. I think I know where I was going with it now. That control. We want to control everything. Oh, I know what's best for me. I know what I'm doing. I can change this. I can change that. It's understanding that the only person we can manage is ourselves. We can't manage the situation, the circumstance, the person. And so the trust lies within me. If I can just trust myself that I am, that my higher self and the universe is guiding me, and not worry about the outcome. Let's see, how can I best explain it? Love. And love, coming from someone that's been single for many years now.
Don't attack me like that.
No, I know, right? It's probably a lot of us, But like, I think, there was a time I'd be like, oh my goodness, I've been single for so long. But why? I'm single because what I do know for sure is that we really can have what we want, right? What is we desire, right? Now, but a lot of times we become impatient, right? So we have these standards. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for in a person. And then someone comes along after so many years and they've checked off all the boxes except for a couple. And we go, well, that's okay. And we accept that. And then down the line, we find that it was probably more than a couple. Or just those couple was enough to not make it what you wanted. But we weren't patient enough to wait. We didn't believe that person is out there. And I'm still not meeting them. Well, now you've blocked the blessing. Now you have this. And so I'm single now because I'm like I know I can have exactly what I want. I am not taking anything off my list. Nothing. Right. And I'm not going to entertain anything because then you'll block the view, right? So not needing to control the situation, knowing that I believe the universe brings you everything you want if you're prepared to have it. And so the preparation is the work we do on ourselves. It's learning the lessons. It's just continuously learning about ourselves and about our vibration, the frequency, like what frequency do we want to operate at in order to attract the things we want? You can't operate at low vibration and wonder why the world is not your oyster. Like it's not gonna be. You have to operate like yes, like I have everything I want. I am who I want to be, and if not, I'm working toward it, and like really get excited about it. And again, to acknowledge yourself, trust yourself. A lot of times, like I said, oh, this is happening. I know I shouldn't be doing that. Like, be able to stop and say, okay, wait a minute. Like, really think about it. I think we don't take time to think. I tell my sons, I said, listen, If it don't feel right, don't do it. Don't listen to your dumbass friends, right? I don't mean to say it like that, but really, like, you get a group of teenagers, and to me, like, you don't even have enough experience, right, to really give advice, oh boy, to other people, especially because a lot of young people don't have the experience. So I tell them, I tell you all about my experiences. Take what you can or what you need, discard the rest. But allow your intuition to tell you what to do. Right. Don't now ask your friend. Don't second guess yourself, because people are going to tell you what they think you want to hear, what society's saying, what everyone else is doing. I ain't got time for that. I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, and I think you absolutely did. And I think a lot of it, from what you were saying, like, I think a lot of it is just getting your ego in check and not letting that lead you. Because when you were saying that, like, knowing your intuition and not, I think it's your ego that maybe is the part that says, like, well, that's what society should be doing, or that's what my life should look like, or that's what I want it to look like, because then people will think I'm this thing. Yeah. And it's like, it's the hardest lesson to learn, but like, no, if you can just stay true to yourself, then, and your higher self.
Yes. I mean, and again, it takes practice, right? Because we immediately, like I'm so into what's being said, what's being done, right? So you can't, like, cheating, right? People say, and I'm using this example because you see it on social media all the time. All right, ladies, what can you do to make sure your man don't cheat on you? Well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh my God. Let's get it together. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
You
want to take a minute?
I know I'm sitting a bit
clear. Oh, no, that's all right. We can fix that in editing.
Happening. I think I'm okay now. Did I do it? Yeah. Like, we want so much to control other people, or to think that we have that much of an impact on someone, that if I'm this way, if I'm that way, if I do this for you, you won't do this. No, they probably still will. Right. Because it has nothing to do with you. And when we finally get that, then we can really start having the relationships we want to have, right? That unconditional love for yourself and for other people. So unconditional love. Unconditional love to me means I can love you without the need for you to love me back. And I know that sounds hard, because when you say to someone, I love you, you want to hear I love you back. But then when they don't say I love you, now you're mad. Now you wish you hadn't said it. And so what's happening now? I love you. So you didn't say you love me. Well, I do. And then this whole conversation starts to happen, and the frequency is lowering. And then maybe you come to terms with it. But in the back of their mind, they're thinking, I wish I hadn't said it, because they didn't say it. There is no one out here. If I love you, I can tell you I love you. Because I'm releasing my expectation of the outcome. Do what makes you feel good. If what makes me feel good is to tell you I love you, to spend time with you, to talk to you, it makes me feel good. Jada and Will was not the first to say it. They won't be the last. Neither person should be responsible for the other person's happiness. Right. Like if people can really get it, if you and I are together, excuse me, and I like cooking, so I'm going to cook for us. Hopefully you like eating, right? Right. But I'm not thinking hopefully you like eating. I'm thinking, oh my God, like, I'm going to cook you this amazing meal. I'm so excited about that. What happens? You're excited because I made you this amazing meal. It might suck, right? But you're like, oh my God, like, she made me this amazing meal. Now, you may really like to eat. So it just so happens I'm doing what I love, which is cook. And now you're doing what you love, which is eat. And the joy matches each other, right? It's, if I make you this amazing meal and you're like, yeah, I'm not even hungry, I'm not mad. You can eat it later. I made that meal. Like really detaching from the outcome. we do things. I'm going to make this amazing meal so that Siobhan can feel amazing. And then we'll have this great night of sex and da 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 da. But then it doesn't happen that way.
Mm.
And now I'm disappointed. And now I'm mad because I did all that for you. So if I do it for me,
right,
and you enjoy it, and then, I don't know, then you do something you enjoy, which is, I don't know, make chocolates. I may not like chocolate, but you just did what you enjoyed. I mean, just continuously doing what each person enjoys, you're enjoying each other,
right,
without the attachment of wanting something in return, wanting to feel a particular way. And so I live my life doing things that excite me. So when you think about my energy, it's because I really enjoy it. Like you'll know the days that I don't want to talk to people, but most of the time, I just like hearing people's stories and talking to them and I give compliments all the time. I talk to strangers all the time. Leah's always like, oh, here she gonna meet another stranger. It's the biggest joke, but it's me. And sometimes people look at me weird. That's okay.
Yep.
Have a great day. I do what you enjoy doing without expectation, without needing someone to respond a particular way, to now do something for you, right? Oh, I would love them more if they took me out to dinner more. Oh, well, I really want them to pay for this. I really want that. What do you really want to do? Do that. Do that. And then that person will do what is they really want to do. And you will probably both have a great time.
Well, because then the vibration of it and the intention behind
Yes.
it. Because that's kind of really what I'm hearing is making sure you're living with intention and being present in your moment so that you know why you're doing something. Because it's like you said, if you make a great, beautiful meal and I come home and I'm like, oh, I'm not even hungry, then because I'm not eating the food that you made, it's now all about you and what you expected and what you wanted. And now you're mad at me for something I may not have even known I was coming home to. And now the night of good sex that we could have had anyways, even though if I didn't eat, was ruined because you're too mad that I didn't do what you expected that I had no idea that I was walking into.
Right.
And that's where I think we get into so much of that problem. Because it's like, but you didn't do what I expected. Right. Well, I didn't know that.
Right. Instead of, I made this great meal.
Like, oh, baby, thank you. I'm not hungry right now, but I'll eat it later.
I don't even care. I made this great meal. I enjoyed making it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, wow, I'm going to enjoy this later. Okay. What are we going to do now?
Right.
Have the great sex we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you skip to that part.
Yeah.
Instead of getting so hung up on your expectation not being met.
Yes.
That you haven't even maybe shared.
Right. Just do it and release it. And whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. Just do it. Just be it. There's so much. Wow. We expect people, and that's the other thing. So when I talk about the Reiki principles and the 4 agreements, don't take anything personally, right? The dinner has nothing to do with you. You had your own day prior to coming home. Right. That has nothing to do with me. Someone cheating. You're this great, amazing person. They're cheating. Don't take it personally. That's their journey. Whatever in their life has happened, but when you're worried about what someone else is doing, the cheating, you're not trusting yourself. You're not believing in yourself. You have to be able to trust that you made the right decision, right? Insecurity is not trusting someone else. It's trusting you. I'm friends with a lot of my exes from years ago. Oh, how can that be? I don't know. I think initially I made the right decision, that there's something about you that I liked. So if you still stayed that person, then we'll probably be friends.
Right. Unless
something crazy happened, right? And so I always feel like meeting someone now, to me, it's going to be win-win. We'll probably be friends. Because that's really important. If you're friends and you like someone and they like you, then you're friends. If it doesn't work out, it's probably, I don't know, something you're not in alignment with. You're just not aligned anymore, and you can have a conversation. Not everything has to end crazy. If you can end amicably, it's just not working out. So
Right.
if I've done everything because I wanted to, and you did everything because you wanted to, and yet, we're still cool. It's just not that spark. Why can't we be friends? So it's win-win. Either I'm going to wind up with the greatest love of all, or I'm going to wind up with this amazing friend. When we don't wind up friends with our exes, I believe it's because you didn't choose correctly.
Mm.
And what that means is you lowered your standard, you lowered your requirements somewhere. This person or whatever, you didn't have exactly what you were looking for, the standards that you set. I saw something on social media the other day where this woman said she wanted someone that was sober. And her friends would say, girl, please, you ain't gonna find nobody sober. She says, no, I will. I want someone that's sober. And they said, well, what about if they drink just socially? She said, no, I want someone that's sober. And they kept saying that wasn't going to happen. So she waited like 5 years and she found someone that was sober. But that's what happens, right? We start, well, I haven't met anyone, been 5 years. All right, well, they only drink on the weekend. And so we accept that. But we didn't really want that.
Right.
It's just like never wanting kids. Don't date someone that wants kids then. And we set ourselves up for these things, and we're going on a whole different tangent here.
Oh, that's what podcasts all are.
Yeah.
They're just great tangents that teach you lessons and get you, because I love that you love to hear people's stories, because that's kind of why I started this. That's what I love, hearing people's stories. I grew up with a huge family. So I only have one brother, but I have 19 aunts and uncles. So I grew up with front row seats to their lives or parts of their lives, and to be able to see how people reacted to things or how different one situation, someone in the family getting really sick affects someone so differently. Like there's one person that can't get over it and like their whole life is about that one incident. And there's another person that was, maybe even closer to that incident that you wouldn't know that they just went through that hardship.
Yeah.
So it's all about, and I really thought from a young age, it's about what you decide, how you decide to react to that event. Because that event can scar you and stay with you and be an open wound forever, or it can be a scar that you have that you can be like, yeah, I made it through that. Yeah. And now these are all the other scars I have from making it through that, because I didn't let it just be an open wound kind of thing. And I think it's like the intention, and it's when you hear someone else's story, it lets you kind of find that moment in your life that you can connect to and be like, oh, okay, well, if they went through that, I can get through this. Yeah. And I think hearing someone's story and perspective always changes how you can react to your own, even present or in the past. Yeah. I think that those are the moments that make you live with more intention and learn to cope in different ways, I guess.
Yeah. And I think also like really being aware of how we feel. Like you said, we can have the very same experience right now, but feel something really different about it. It affects us differently. You said you have a brother. Mm-hmm. So I have a brother. Aren't there times that you think to yourself, did we grow up in the same place?
Oh yeah, we have those conversations sometimes.
It's great. Like we can talk about our childhood, and he has a whole different. I'm like, because we might be going through the same thing, but our experience of it is different. How it affects us is different. How pain and how grief and all these things, they affect us differently. So when we can, just allow people to, we're always putting ourselves on someone else. Like, we expect people to say things or feel things the way we would feel it, say things the way we would say it, experience the way we want, like, invalidating each other's feelings all the time. Like, oh, but I'm really hurt. Well, I don't know why you're hurt. As opposed to saying, wow, well, I didn't mean to hurt you, right? I don't know why you're hurt. I mean, just different things. But to take a moment and really get to know ourselves and to listen more, like you said, to the story. In other people's story, we learn more about ourselves. A lot of my certifications was for me to get a deeper sense of who I am and to show up a different person, so I can really understand what people are going through and understand myself more, and to be able to help people, especially younger people. Oh my God, I love being able to have conversation with them. I mean, they have a whole different perspective on a lot of things. So I love learning from them, but I also love just telling them what I know. And if they can get some things, I try to give my kids a head start. They probably know everything about me, but I also listen to them because they think about things differently. They approach things differently. I think young people are getting a bad rap right now. I just think they're the thinkers. They're the thinkers, the ones that, the dreamers. I mean, they may not be sharing all their dreams, but they're doing them, they're unstoppable. But yeah, I think, just getting to know each other and allowing each person to be who they are, as opposed to who we want them to be, who we see them to be, who society says they are, just to be human and to be able to talk about what we're feeling. I think it's really important. So many people walking this world and thinking there's nothing for them to know, nothing for them to work on, no work to do. The work never stops, right? I always say these people that are, no, I did the work. Those that say they did the work need the work. Healer. Am I a healer? Yes, because I'm healing me. And in healing me, it helps to heal others. I am by no means healing anyone. I'm healing me. And through my healing, you get to see that you can also heal yourself. I think in books, right? The 4 agreements, all these little things. And it's all the things we've said before, but we never put it into practice, and I think these are all things that help guide us in how do we put this in practice? Because life is a practice. You can't just wing it. Like I wing a lot of things in my life, but you can't wing life. Like you really have to show up open to learn, to talk about things, to listen, to make mistakes, and not make them over and over again. Oh my gosh,
Well, that's like what you said earlier is when you, like the universe kind of gives you lessons. And once you learn that lesson, then you've learned it. The universe might test it again. Like,
yes.
Did you really learn that lesson? Like,
Oh,
here's
yes.
a little test. And if you fail it, well, then you didn't learn it.
Exactly.
So you got to learn it again. But those lessons never stop coming.
Never.
And it's like, some people are like, oh, well, when I have that job or I have this house, then everything's going to, if you listen to any celebrity, any millionaire, they'll tell you like that stuff hasn't made a difference.
Right.
Because they're still showing up in that spot as that same person that's insecure. And I was just thinking about this last night. Like, if I can't recognize my worth and live my truth, then I'm not giving the other person that I'm meeting the chance to live their worth and their truth. Because if I'm not letting them see who I am, I can't be mad at them for not seeing me. But then if I'm hiding part of who I am, then I'm in some way making them have to hide part of who they are. And then we get worried, like, why doesn't anyone see me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I? It's like, oh, because I'm not even letting myself do that. So if I can't, how can they? Or how can I see them when I'm so busy hiding half of myself? And it's trying to learn how to be kind of secure in who you are and like how to operate in the world like that. Yeah. And in every space.
Yeah. And we call it being vulnerable, right? And I feel like, in law enforcement, every 5 years, they do this background check, a security background check, really, really invasive. And it always ends with, does anyone know something about you that can be used against you? Right. And I always said, no. That it is so powerful to be able to live where you're not worried. Like, I don't have any secrets. One, whether I told you them or not, I don't have any secrets. There's nothing anyone can say that I'll say, oh, I didn't say that. Why are you doing that to me? Like, I don't even want anyone to have that power over me. So, I decided a long time ago I would never leave a situation not saying what I wanted to say. And so I do that, or being honest and open. Like, how, like you just said, how can I expect you to be a particular way or to have a conversation, but yet keep things to myself, right? Like, my birthday's coming. Oh, I can't believe Siobhan didn't give me nothing for my birthday. Did I tell you my birthday?
Right.
Did I even tell you what it was?
Or that it was important to
Or
you.
that it was important to me, right? People in relationships, and this is intimate or not, that expect a certain thing, but yet you never told someone what it is you wanted or just shared enough about yourself for them to know, because we're so busy holding back. Like, I don't hold nothing back. When I leave this world, I will have left it all on the earth, and it's taken up, I think I really stand in that now. I mean, I don't know how good I stood in before. Hell, I don't remember now, but that's how I live now. Like I don't want any confusion. And if there is confusion, then let's clear it up.
Right.
People make more confusion by still not saying what they want, right? Because I'm worried about I'm going to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other part I'm learning. We disempower people. And then we think we have all this power. Like, I'll take anyone's honesty. You don't have the power to hurt my feelings, right? I can allow it, because that's really what it is. We're allowing this situation to hurt us. And I've been through a lot of heartbreak. And, oh, my heart's broken. Oh, they hurt me. No. Like, if you look at it, most of the time, you look at it and be like, I don't even know why we were together to begin with. But it was something they did that hurt our feelings or whatever. But when you're walking in your truth, if you are, again, looking beyond what's happening, there's always something greater beyond it, right? You're looking to get this particular job. And so again, with Reiki, letting go of the outcome. Like, I can send Reiki. I can send Reiki to a person. I can send it to a situation. And if there's a job I want, I can send Reiki to that situation. I don't get the job. Somebody might say, oh, Reiki didn't work, huh? No, it did. Ask for its highest, for its highest and greatest good. So it met me there to be able to, that day, oh, I didn't get the job. I'm reading it. I didn't get the job. Okay. And I'm okay. The Reiki is holding me. I have that energy. I am balanced to know that there must be something greater for me. Because a lot of times we take a job because we thought it was what we wanted, and then it's not. And so all of these things take a little more thought, a little more patience, a little more being honest with ourselves, right? Like, okay, so I didn't get the job. Okay. Don't get stuck with why you didn't get it. And, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't get it. Like, what else? There's something else you're missing, because there's always something that's going to guide you to whatever is best for you. I mean, I really have come to believe in my almost 58 years that if you're looking, if you're paying attention, if you're aware, like, this could really be a great life. The people I meet, I don't think I've met anyone crazy negative in a long time. Like, I don't. And it's funny because if I'm in a store and I meet someone and I do mean like interact and they're like got a bad attitude or something, I'll be like, and I can relate it to me. I'm not in the best of mood that day. Right. So I just somebody just bumped into my car, or I bumped into their car and they just cursed me out. And I'm like, wow, they really cursed me out. But I'm thinking, well, I wasn't in a good mood when I came in, so I attracted them to me. Whereas, someone else, I might bump their cart really hard and I'll be like, oh, sorry. No, you're good. Because I'm in a, hey, I'm really sorry about that. Like road rage. I don't entertain it. And normally, like, nothing really happens on the road. Like, I'm usually like, oh, wow, there's traffic. All right. And I'll put on an audiobook. And then I swear it happened. Suddenly, the traffic opened up. But I remember years ago, oh my God, I can't believe it. There's someplace I need to go. Traffic didn't move. Whatever, it started raining. In New York, it started snowing. Everything possibly that could happen to really delay me even more happened. If you can switch what you're feeling, because here's the thing, can you change the traffic?
Right.
No. So why am I mad about it? Like, I can't even change it, Get a flat tire. Am I going to be mad about the flat tire all day after I've already changed the tire? But people do it.
Right.
People carry that with them all day long. Whatever it was in the morning, this happened. And then I see you. How you doing, Karen? Oh, I'll tell you what happened to me at 6 this morning. So, wow, right? Then later on, I see, I don't know, Marie. Oh, so how you doing? Well, I was fine until what happened this morning. Then I see Leah at night. So how was your day? Well, I'll tell you how it started out. Oh, my God.
Yep.
Like it's over. What's happening now? How do you feel now? Because so we keep returning to that same feeling, right? You go to bed at night. Man, you have some things in your mind. Morning comes, you're feeling so much better, and you go, wait a minute. But last night, and now you're back.
Right.
And so it's really being conscious of it. I tell people it's not easy. I make it sound easy, but I'm literally working through and talking to myself every day. If I wake up in the morning thinking about something last night, I go, wait a minute, Karen. That was last night. Let's go. And I keep going, or just be able to leave everything behind you and just look forward. And I'm not talking about that, I always say stay positive and all of that. And I try not to do that anymore because people, it's that positive, the positive, toxic
positivity.
Thank you. Toxic positivity. I'm not saying, oh my God, let's just do positive words and positive things and everything is great. No. What I am saying is you have a choice. So I'm saying I like to be positive if I can be,
Yep.
But like you said, if I don't feel like getting out of bed, I don't get out of bed. But most of the time I'm like, I really do want to get out of bed. I'm just having trouble. Okay, what do I need to do? I'll do this. I'll do that. When I fell from grace, when my world crumbled, I don't even know, trying to regain my footing, I can look back and the universe kept sending me whatever opportunities or money to just get by. Mm-hmm. But looking back, I'm like, on paper, I was broke as fuck, and now it's like I don't even get caught up in that. It's like, if you get caught up in what is holding you down, what is, okay, this bill, I need to pay this bill. I'm not saying like, oh, it'll be fine. I'm sure all will be well. I'm saying that, all right, so what am I going to do to pay this bill? All right, let me go do a DoorDash. Let me go do something. But most people get stuck in what they don't have, what they can't do. And so then you don't see the solution. So rather than being positive all the time and like I'll sit with it for a minute. Okay, so what's happening? Okay, that's not really positive. And really think about what can I do to answer this question? What can I do to solve this problem? It exists at the same time. It just depends on where you put your focus. So if you're focused on the most negative part of it, you'll never see the answer. You'll never see the solution. But if you can just kind of just get in the middle of it and be like, okay, all right, I'm good. All right, I'm good. I'm open to seeing what the solution is, like I said, just really being conscious of what we're feeling so that the opportunities can come, so that we can climb out of this, or crawl sometime,
Yeah. And I think people get caught up in that toxic positivity a lot. Because I have a sweatshirt that says good vibes. And people will be like, oh, good vibes only. And I'm like, it doesn't say only.
Right. I like that.
Because I don't believe in good vibes only. Like sometimes shit sucks.
Yes.
And sometimes it's okay to be like, I'm having a shitty ass day today, but yes, let's change it.
And that's the key. Say it.
Yep.
Own it. Don't act like it's not happening, right? And I'm not and it's funny because I'm also really conscious of how I say. I don't never say it's a fucked up day, but I'll be like, I'm having a fucked up day. Yeah. Like I changed the tone even a little bit. I'm really conscious, just so that I can find the answer. I'm like, wow, the day's not going really well. So why isn't it going well? These vibes aren't good. But just being able to identify it, like you said, no, not good vibes only, right. But good vibes. That's my goal. That's the intention. Like you said, the intention. Like, what is your intention? My intention every day is to have a good day, whatever that looks like. I just want to feel good. I want to influence the room, right? I want to maintain my frequency. I don't want to be down here low. And so whatever my intention is that I set, that's what I'm going for every day. I'm going to try to get here, right? And so that's the goal every day. To be kind, to be kind to myself, and to other people, to really be aware of my behavior. It's all about the intention. And so when people talk about Reiki, how do you practicing? How do you do it? Well, my intention is to allow Reiki to flow for your highest and greatest good. That's it. That's my intention. And you're so good at what you do. No, I am good at emptying myself out and channeling this because my intention is for your highest and greatest good. It's with kindness. It's with love. If I wake up on a day that I am not feeling that, then I have to get there or I've got to cancel appointments. But I usually can get there.
Yeah. I mean, that's true for you. And I guess if some people that are listening don't know what Reiki is, it's because I took Reiki 20 plus years ago now. And I kind of stopped practicing it when I fell out of a lot of those practices because I had all of this when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I was like, I'm going to, I was going to massage school. I got into Reiki.
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to, I feel this energy and this kind of calling towards this alternative healing in life. And then, society and all of that was kind of against it. And I was like, all right, well, then I'll go to school. I'll be a nurse. And then I'll merge the two. So you can't tell me that I'm fucking woohoo crazy.
Right.
I'll have the Eastern and the Western training.
Right.
And then after in nursing school is when I got hurt and kind of, because I, fell off of it and then was getting back on my track. And the having lost it for so long and then finding it again has been kind of fucking kicking the pants because it's like, shit, how did I lose all those years?
Right.
But it's also been like a gift of okay, that knowing has always kind of been inside of me. I should have trusted it then. And if I can get back there now, and finding books like The Four Agreements and The Untethered Soul and books like that, I was like, okay, now I can put the words to what I've always kind of known has helped and kind of re-educating myself in that way. And then being open and every day, life, I get out of bed and I'm in pain. So before I even get up, it's all right, how do I get out of this? How do I find the way to work within this kind of, I don't want to say disability, but disadvantage. I don't get out of bed the way most people do. And I could be sad and miserable about it, but it's no, I'm going to be open to the ways that can help me deal with it and be positive and look for, because I think in life, the shit comes. Yeah. It's always coming. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of how much shit comes and how hard it hits the fan. Yeah. But if you're looking for all the joy in it, when the shit comes, it's not unexpected. Yeah. But it's not you're slogging through looking at all the shitty stuff. Because if that's all you're looking for, that's all that's coming. Yes. So to realign yourself and get into this practice of, and this is where I was trying to say is because you keep talking about the way you empty yourself. And that's one thing I don't think people realize with Reiki and with some of this healing. And you say you're not a healer, but you're healing. So Reiki is the practice of calling energy through your body, but it doesn't exhaust you in the way that you would think it does. Right. Because it's not you giving that energy.
It's not my energy at all. Right. So it is channeling the universal life force energy around us. Right. And so it's if you're in a really good meditative state, if you're meditating, you're letting the thoughts come, you're letting them go. And I found with meditation, I can get there. I can just, not a matter of focusing on a thought, but choosing what to focus on. So I'll focus on my breathing and eventually I won't feel myself sitting in this chair. So it's like that with Reiki. I'm just, in my mind, the chant is, let Reiki flow. And so that keeps me, it keeps me open to allowing it to flow. I'm not thinking about anything else. So I have chosen to focus on just that. But it is in the beginning, just as soon as I start, I don't know how to explain it, just emptying myself out okay, emptying myself out to me means the willingness to be the vessel, the willingness to accept it, that the intention is I am going to accept this energy to flow through me, to flow to this person so that their energy can be unblocked and their energy is flowing. And it doesn't, if anything is challenging, it's holding the positions. However, challenging meaning, anytime you're holding a position for 3, 4, 5 minutes, it's like, okay, you get a little stiff.
Right.
But energy-wise, I receive the energy first. It's coming through me. And then the person receives energy. But at no time is they're receiving my energy. And I'm not receiving theirs back. And even when we're feeling sensations, the sensations I feel is the divine guidance or the intuitive guidance on where I need to be or how long I need to stay there. Did I answer your question? No.
Yeah. Well, I think the important distinction to say, especially about Reiki, is it's not you taking their energy or giving them energy. It's just you being a vessel to let energy flow through you.
And I think I've gotten really good at that because I used to have it in my head where, oh my God, I hope it's flowing. And no, I just know that it is now. Like I can, well, you saw the holistic happy hour. I could do people back to back. Just take a minute, shake it off, come back, and it just keeps flowing. And for me, my energy is just continuously being replenished. Like I feel good. I am vibrating so high when I'm doing Reiki, I can't even put into words, which is why I can do it for several hours and it just keep flowing.
Sorry. I was going to say, how many people did you see during holistic happy hours? What, 3.5 hours long?
Yeah, that was
probably
that was 3 hours. I did 12 people. And that was because, conversation and stuff. Right. Whereas we had there's another event we had and I
Witch
did
Fest.
Yeah, Witch Fest I shared with some students.
Oh, that's right.
But there was one right before that. I think I did 23 people in a few hours. And I never took a break. And somebody said, "Oh, take a break." And don't get me wrong, I probably should take breaks. But like I really didn't feel it. Like right. I feel so high when I'm doing Reiki, because I really feel that unconditional love, that divine connection. And I also I'm feeling the connection with the human being. Like it puts me in such an amazing state. I wanted to touch on something you said because that's what I do. I reframe things. So I like how careful you are in explaining what you feel when you get up in the morning. You mentioned, you said you didn't want to say disability. You didn't want to say disadvantage, challenge, right?
Right.
So one of the things I've learned is there's power in your words. If you can begin to say at some point or throughout the day, I am healing. Mm-hmm. Right? And so it puts a little more ease on it, right? That even with pain or discomfort, I'm healing. You begin to tell your body that, and your body begins to respond. We are? Okay. And I say that because going back to what I said about my mother, I think all those years that I wanted to take the pain that I really did. Like, so one day I realized that essential oils, even Reiki, all these things, I was like, wow, like, how does it benefit so many people? And I am still not feeling well. Number one, I didn't think I was feeling well. Like I kept thinking that there was something that had to be healed. I was told I had rheumatoid arthritis. I've got arthritis in my back. What else I got? Oh, I got Graves' disease. All these different things. And I'm not saying it's not there. What I'm saying is just my Reiki practice, meditating, eating better, and not claiming it has helped me to feel better, right? Because it's not to say that Because if I think about it, oh yeah, my back is hurting me. Yeah, I was having a little pain here, and I'm not ignoring it. It's there, but just the change of words that make you feel a little more comfortable, like I'm healing, and I love the fact that you said all of these teachings that you've had, right? And it's funny because you've had them years ago and then they come back up. Mm-hmm. And now they're being said a different way, right? By all of these new books we see now. And so it's not, because don't even wish that you had gotten it then. Whatever, right? Because that's the other thing. Like, we can't even change it. But we can take them. Well, shit, I know it now.
Right.
Now I know. Oh, tell me more. Okay, how can I put this into practice? And that's what it's like for me now. My spiritual mentor, Brenda, I used to say to her, oh my God, I really wish, and my really good friend, she's not just spiritual mentor. I can't believe it. I think I was like 50 something. I said, wow, I'm starting to get this now. How come I couldn't get this when I was younger? 50? She says, oh, don't you worry. The universe will now accelerate your education, your receiving of information. And I was like, really? I'm turning 58 in May. And I really feel like there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time to learn what I need to learn, share what I need to share, experience what I need to experience. I think she was right. And so I don't, with my practice, I don't dwell on the past. And don't get me wrong. We all go back there sometimes, like, wow. And even when I do that, like, I really wish this could have been Karen, it can't be.
Right.
So what do I feel about now? Well, I feel good. I know now, right? I feel good that there are all these things to help me. And so it may not be one thing, but you just keep trying everything, and then you put them all together. But in the midst of it all, you also say, I'm healing.
Yep.
Because you are. Just by doing, you are healing. And the desire, the intent to heal, I used to say some days are better than others, because some days they are.
Right.
But the intention is for it to be a good day and to continuously heal physically, mentally, emotionally, And I think, do you find that now that you're doing these podcasts, that you are feeling better physically?
Yes and no. I have been so afraid of doing the podcast because I'm afraid to put myself out there in that way.
But you did it.
That I've been procrastinating on it huge, which is why my website's not still fully up, which is why we don't have videos going. That there's fear that I have around it. Some of it is like, who am I to even do this? And some of it is just to share my story and put things out there. People are going to come, the negative will happen. And it's to know, like, one, don't read that stuff. Two, like, people are going to have their opinions and they can have them. It has nothing to do with me. Right. It's not going to affect my day to day. But I've had this thought to do it for so long. Like, even the first time I ever thought about it was when I was a kid living with my parents. I remember when Joe Rogan first started his podcast and being like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the confidence then. And I didn't have what I thought I needed, which was the life experiences to kind of support my thoughts and my way of kind of going through the world. Because I've always operated a slightly different vibration than the people around me. I've known that. And for a long time, I was like, that's fine. That's your vibe.
Right,
my vibe's over here. I'm good.
Right.
And then I think I had to relearn those messages. Like, I had to hit rock bottom for myself and to pull myself out of that. And to, my life has crumbled a few times now. And to be able to be like, all right, well, I got that. Like, yeah. And now when someone comes at me, I'm like, dude, come at me, bro. What do you got? Right. What do you got? Nothing that you are going to give me or come at me with is not something I've even done to myself.
That's right.
Or like haven't already been through. Like, yes. So now I feel like I have the confidence to do it. And now that I've kind of stepped into it, more people have been coming to me and being like, oh, I want to be on it. Oh, that's awesome. Or, oh, I can see you doing that. And it's like, all right, now I'm getting the feedback kind of I needed to take those next step forward. Yes. I think learning that my words have power and that my body doesn't know the difference has been the biggest way that I've gotten my body to heal. Yes. Is that I am careful about what I say about my body, about who I am, about other people. Because my body doesn't, if I say like, oh, I'm in so much pain all the time, I'm going to be in so much pain all the time. If I'm like, yeah, I'm in pain, but like I move through it, I find those moments where I don't have any, or like I've learned to live with it, then it's easier to kind of go through it. And when I have those moments of stuff that really hurts, or my threshold goes from like a 6 to an 8, it's like, all right, well, I'll pull out my bag of tools on how I deal with that. And I will, like, it will be better. And that's what I'll start to say is like, oh yeah, I'm really sore now, but I'll be fine in a little bit, or I'll be better in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that kind of carries me until those moments where I am having a little bit more release and relaxation or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fear of the podcast has been scary.
Yeah. Listen to what you just said. I can imagine it being scary. It's been one of my thoughts, me and Leah doing a podcast. And we'll get it done at some point. But
you can come here, use this place.
Oh my.
Oof. We'll throw a green screen up. Y'all can have your own background.
It is funny because she bought all the equipment and we just haven't done it yet. It's so funny. But, scary, but you're doing it. I love that. And like what goes through people's mind, like, well, who's going to listen? Who's going to watch? Who's going to do this? And what I want to tell you is, you have to do it, right? Because I was excited about being here, right? First of all, who doesn't like talking about themselves, right? and then for me, if I can talk about myself, it helps me to heal. And if someone else is listening and it hits with them, then they're healing. Or when I meet them, we can have another conversation that hopefully will heal them. And then you're healing. And even if it comes years from now, like a lot of things happen, it'll be heard.
Right.
And so, like you said, Rogan, right? People still listen to his stuff, right? One of my favorites is Bob Proctor.
Oh.
And he's just passed recently, but he's been around for years. And now it's like, or Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill did so much research for 25 years, put it in a book, Think and Grow Rich. And it is one of the best-selling books. And he got successful after he passed. Not that that's going to happen to you, but things come later, or things come when people need it, right?
Yes.
And so this is my second podcast. I'm so excited. And it's like to get, I could get in my head like, oh wow, but you know what? It'll be heard. And I love what you're doing. I think it's great, giving people the opportunity, and there will be a lot of healing from this. Even the people because that's the thing, we're all like, yeah, me next, because it's healing and it builds our own confidence, right? And yeah, you need to stop because you are amazing. I mean, I love the conversations I always have with you, the questions, and I am inspired that you're just doing it anyway, because that's the thing. You have to just do it anyway. The things that we really don't want to do are the things we should be doing. Yeah. For you to be able to hold this space for others and to give, to provide this platform, right, for all these different stories we heard. I can only imagine all the people you're going to talk to and all the different things that's going to be talked about.
Yeah. Well, I think, thank you. I hope so too. And I truly think that sharing stories is the only way people change their lives. It's either hearing someone's story or something that happens to you. Those are really the only two big catalysts that get someone to change their lives. And most of the time for the positive. Yeah. Like you don't usually have a conversation, then you're like, you know what, that heroin is a really good idea. Right. You have a conversation and you're like, oh, I can't deal with that. I'm going to go do some heroin. You're not right. So I think those are the only times that you really kind of change your perspective, or you even realize that your story is worth something. Like, for a long time, I thought like my life wasn't hard because I know so many people's lives that were harder. And then I got to be like, oh, well, the worst thing that's ever happened to me is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like I can't discount what's happened to me because I know two people who have had it worse. Then I'm discounting their story by discounting mine. Right. Like, I can't give their story the kind of either the sadness or like the joy that it deserves if I'm not even recognizing my own journey. Yes. And that's kind of been hard. Yeah. And I, you know what? And that's the thing. I think when people tell stories, like when I think about being a correctional officer, and I keep going back to that, that's a huge part of my life that if you talk to police and correctional officers, like no one's really telling their story, right? There's this exterior, there's this tough part about it.
And so when I think about that, like I can tell you both sides of the coin of what's happening here. But it starts with us. It starts with us as a correctional officer. Okay, wait a minute. So, acknowledging things about myself, like the hardest part for me when I retired was bringing my emotion back, right? Because I think I've always been an emotional person, really sensitive, but there are a lot of things that I can compartmentalize things. Like I think of I was in the jail one day with a bunch of men, right? And actually, Federal Bureau of Prisons is different. I was older then, so I communicated with everyone. And I'm in there with a variety of people, and it was the first shooting at the school. Not the first, but the Sandy Hook one. Mm. And we're all glued on this TV. Me, a correctional officer, and me, these incarcerated individuals. None of us showed any emotion. None of us cried. None of that. And then everything, I think all the major things that was on the news with the shootings, I was always at work. And I would go home when I was done, and then I could feel what I wanted to feel. Mm. But I remember that day looking around like we all don't feel, like not even not feel. You can't show it. You can't show it in prison. But that's how it is in life now. People are like, oh, I can't show this, I can't show that. But why not? And so it's taken me many years, but now, oh yeah, I can feel again. I can show it again. That it's okay, because that's when the healing really begins, right? That, like you said, we're hearing each other's stories, we're sharing these things, and giving us the power to really be that, to really know, okay, like you said, well, this is my experience. You know what? Like some people might think, oh, being evicted is no big deal. It was a big deal, right? Or having your car repoed or whatever. And I've had it done twice. The first time I was like, oh, wow. Second time I was like, well, you did that to you. Like you begin to see it differently, experience it differently. You're no longer mad. You're like, well, you did this, But we get to see that we're more alike than we are different, and that it's okay. And if we can all just be ourselves, and it just makes it easier. But I don't really want you to see all of me. You don't really want me to see all of you, because I don't know what you're going to do with it. And as I say, you can't hurt me. Like I'm not giving someone that power, because that's what it is. We're giving our power away every time we think what someone else is going to do with this, what someone else is going to do about that. And then we miss the experience. Mm-hmm. So, for lack of a better term, no one wants to be hurt in a relationship. And not that they hurt me, but just feeling that. No one wants that. But I'm not going to not have the experience, or hold something back. Because if you hold back, then you're not going to have the complete experience. And eventually you'll be hurt anyway, because you left some stuff out so that this person didn't show up the way they could show up. But if you just show up and show out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least you showed up as yourself, your true self. Yeah. Like with friendships, you just be you. Okay, if this person wants to dog you out or they're not a real friend, well, thanks for showing me who you are. See ya. Yeah. I'm moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. I come in, I'm pretty blunt about things.
Yeah, you are.
Pretty honest about them. And so I've got I think that has been a blessing too, is someone comes up to me did you say this or something? I did. You did. You called me this. I did. And they'll look at you shocked. And I'm like, sorry, I was being petty, or we had just done this, or I didn't really mean it, or yeah, I did call you that. Yeah. And you know why. Right. And they'll be like, what? I'm like, yeah. Some people are like, I don't like her. Okay, you'll never know where you don't stand with me. Right. Or you never have a question on where you stand with me. Because
yes.
One, I don't have the patience to be fake, because I don't want to remember if I pretended to like you the last time, or you know what I mean? If I meet you and I don't vibe with you, that's cool.
That's cool.
Hi, how are you? I'll stay away from you. Or if I really meet you and I enjoy you, I will always be engaging and trying, and and I think just being okay with someone not liking you has been a huge, huge thing for me.
Yes.
It's you don't like me. That's cool. You don't need to.
Yeah.
you can talk to one of my aunts. She hasn't liked me since I was 12. Like, you not liking me is not really
Yeah.
But it was like learning to take that out into the world and being kind of okay with it and being like, okay, then we don't vibe. And that's cool too.
Yeah.
And having that kind of extra layer of kind of development, I would even say, is what has helped made this kind of easier too.
Yeah.
Like, because I was afraid to share some of my stories too, because like you're saying, like you have to show up and be honest, and then you're going to get the best things back.
Yes.
But showing up and being honest was like, okay, well, if I share this part of my story, it shares parts of this person's story, or it puts this person in a bad light, and I don't want to do that. And then it was like having to let
story.
And then it was having to let go of that and saying like, okay, well, if they don't want to be in that bad light, maybe they shouldn't have done that. But it is what happened. And some of those moments will come out eventually, or, you know, in time when they're necessary. And it was like, how do I share that? And then it was like, no, what needs to happen will happen.
Yeah. And you know, the other
being
thing
detached
is like,
from it.
Yeah. And like, you know, when you're talking about, like you said, like you want to share your story. Okay, maybe I won't mention no names,
right?
But it's still my story, and you get a chance to tell your story, and it may be different, right? And then so when those people get mad, oh, were you talking about me? What did you think I was? Right. I mean, like, and so there's the communication again too. Like you said, being able to. Did you say that? I did. Oh, and they don't, you know, because a conversation can happen after that too. But I heard you said, yeah, I did. You know what? And I really should have just said it to you,
right?
Yeah, I apologize, but yeah, I did say it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of no, it's just too much trouble, too much drama. Most of the time, whatever I have to say to someone, I say it to them.
Yeah,
you know. But if it does come back, maybe I just didn't get a chance to tell you, or it just came up. I can own it, and then we can have a conversation about it. You know, rather than not saying anything, or like I said, we spend so much time wanting to be liked and wanting this. You know, I just want good interactions, relationships, and if we like each other, fine. But if we don't, that's really fine too. Yeah. Like we don't need to be in connection because you're really popular. Like it's really important to me to really spend time with people that I want to spend time with, and that could mean that I want to spend time with, or that maybe I don't know, someone needs help with their garage being cleaned out. Maybe I'm not particularly thrilled about being with them, but I really do want to help them out. So I'm going to come because I do want to help out. But I don't want to talk to you while we do this. I just, you know, whatever. Yeah. But why are you showing? Don't just show up because, well, they need help over here, so I'm going to go over here and do it. I'm probably not going to do that. You know, I would have to really change my energy about it. Well, what about it makes me want to help them out? Okay, well, I know they need this. Someone's, you know, no one's around. I can help them out. But you don't really like them. I don't. But as a human being, they need help. You know, it's so many ways of looking at it, but for it to be coming from that kind and loving place, as opposed to being what people want you to be or saying what they need you to say. I think it's important now to really be who we are, to really have authentic interactions. Or not.
Right.
Or not, you know.
Yeah. I think some of that was hard for me too, because growing up I had like, I went to Catholic school. So Catholic school, you have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, especially we had terrible nuns. Nuns are terrible. Every nun I've met has always been a terrible person. And I'm sorry, like I really want to meet a nice nun and have some,
sorry.
Like
those are your experiences.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really like I've met some nice priests who like kind of like, okay, now I can see why like people like some priests. But for the most part, every nun I've met has always been like a terrible person.
Right. That's unfortunate, but it is.
But it is.
Yeah.
But so, you know, you have to be a certain way or act a certain way to be in that. And then like my mom was really controlling and wanted this particular, you know, and then this person. So it was like, how do I show up as an authentic person in my life when I haven't had chances to? You know, you haven't been able to be here. Like if you do something too out of the norm for this people, then you're like ostracized, or you do something here and then that's it. So it's like, how do you, and then learning how to show up and just be like, this is who I am and this is it. Like it or not, like I is who I is, like Popeye, you know, like
that's it.
And then it was like, oh, okay, that's all it takes.
That's it, right? And then all those other people that shouldn't be there are gone.
They fall away.
Isn't that amazing? It's so awesome. Because why would we want to be surrounded by people for a fake reason, right? Just because. It's so empowering when you're like, you know, I'm just going to be me. And okay, it might be shocking at first that you're standing by yourself, but you're like, oh, but I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can just wait a second, those that are for you that are being themselves too, they come. But oftentimes we get lonely real quick. And, we might, well, I'll deal with this. I'll deal with that. No, be you. And if they can't handle it, let them go.
It is scary though, like you said, like when you first start it, because even now sometimes I'll find myself walking to a place and I can feel that anxiety starting to, and I'm like, okay, just stand over here and take a few breaths, then you'll be fine, and you'll walk in and it'll be good. And sometimes I'll play it out in my head or do something to like get over that anxiety or that fear, but I no longer let that fear win.
Yeah, I would never have known that about you. I think you are such an amazing individual. How you can move and shake and interact and talk with anyone. Like you always seem so comfortable to me. And so whatever talking to yourself you're doing, it's working because we have to do that sometimes.
Oh no, the other day at the holistic happy hour, we were waiting to go. I was waiting for you to come in and to get my little mini session. And I was talking to Pia and I was like, okay, Pia, I'm off. And this girl turned around and she like, super cute girl turns around, flips her hair and was like, oh, Siobhan, how do you have days off? And my first instinct was, does she see me? Like, wait, who, how do you see me?
Right.
Like, I had no idea who she was, but she was so nice. And I was like, oh yeah, like, let's not tell anyone. But in my head, I was like, yes, she can see you. Yes, she can hear you. Like, I was like,
oh, that's
keep
funny.
talking to her. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then Leah was standing there and I didn't recognize her at first. And I saw her and I was like, hey. And then I was so anxious from that one girl that I couldn't even talk to her because I'm like, I don't actually know if I know her. Do I know her? Like, have you ever met her? Do you think? No, I think you do. And I was just like, where is Karen? Like, I was like, do not freak out in the middle of this store where you know a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But it was I was like, wait, how do you see me? Like, I don't know you. And I still no idea who she was.
Right.
But nice interaction.
But people know you. Because, look at the different places you go to, different places you work. And people are going to remember you. Like I said, your personality is amazing. So they're going to remember you anyway. Like, oh, okay. And...
But I still have those moments where I'm like, wait, huh? Who, me?
Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure. Like, oh,
and it does. Like, and I had a customer the other day who came in and was talking to me about their bad day, and they had an anxiety attack, and I was like, oh, I hate when that happens. And we started talking. They were like, wait, I was like, oh, but every once in a while I'll have panic attacks. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, for me, being here and being behind the bar is so different than when I'm on that side as a customer. I'm like, I can be here and do this because it's part of my job. Yeah. Part of my job is to put on an experience and a show for you when you come in. I'm like, so it's almost like a character.
Right.
I'm like, but when I'm on that side of the bar, I am insecure and nervous and like, I don't go out a lot by myself anymore because I'm so afraid of having to have that energy and can I keep that energy up? And is that part of, and then I'm like, oh no, that person is probably my authentic self. Yes. I'm just afraid to keep it on the other side. I'm afraid to let people see that as part of just who I am. Because it's then that fear of, is it going to be too much? Is it this or is it that? Like, because someone was like, oh, you're always in a good mood. And I was like, they're like, it's easy for you. And I'm like, it is not easy for me. Like, I'm like, I love that you think that, but I also don't love that you think that because I want you to know, like, it's not this something that just comes easy to me. It's something I work on. I do, like, I have a daily,
daily ritual
that I do. And, when I'm going to work, I have a whole nother like mantra and things that I put on as soon as I go in there. So when I walk in there, I'm leaving like kind of my troubles at the door. And sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm not. Yeah. But like, I'm going to try to be as much love, light, and healing as I can the whole day to anyone I interact with, whether that's someone in the grocery store or like pumping gas. Yeah. Like, I was talking to Darren the other day about how just acknowledging people. Yes. That 90% of the time when I'm out in public, I'm going to try to acknowledge anyone that I pass.
Yeah. And it shocks a lot of people, but it feels good to me, you know. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I had my mask on during that time, and I was at the grocery store, and this kid walked by me, and I smiled at him, and he was like, thank you for your smile. And
it's in the eyes.
And I was like, what? And he's like, I can see it in those eyes. Yeah. And it was so sweet, and he was like, but thank you. You're the first person that's looked at me. And I was like, what? Like, he was an attractive guy. I was like, how's no one else looking at you?
Yes, yeah. Well, especially during that time, I think there was so many lessons during that time, and a lot of people missed it. Like what you said with the mask, and that's why I knew smiling with the eyes, because to me, the eyes are really the windows to the soul. Like I can look at someone, I can see who they are, and everybody had this mask on, and it was interesting because it turned me on even more. I was like always up, but you could really see what people were going through behind the mask.
Yeah.
And you could see the authentic ones because they would smile at you and you could see it in their eyes. And it just made the interaction and conversation even better, Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You said something that brought me back to the corrections thing. You put it really well, which is when I retired, that was my struggle. Looking back, every day I put on this is how I was. I started wondering if that was me because I had to do it every day. My life depended on it. And so then that struggle, but then realizing, yeah, it was me. But for some reason, there's something you said that made me think of it. For some reason, that's the thing that makes you like, but is that me? Because you get so used to it for whatever reason, being this way, being this person during this time, that when it's now time for you to be yourself, you kind of like, okay, is this me or is that me? But then you realize it's all parts of you, Yeah, and that's a good thing though. With a lot of people think, oh, I'm a real people person, and I'm not either, right? However, I've done it for so long that I can interact, and a lot of it has to do with you walk into a prison and on Rikers, I think it was like, I don't know, 200 guys in a cell block and just me. You have to have some type of personality. You have to be able to communicate, and so a lot of it initially it was just me working through my fear. Hey, how you doing? All right, what's going on? Just that conversation. So that now it's probably why I need to do that, because now I can talk to anyone. I keep the conversation going, talk to anybody. But then there are times you're like, oh, I could just want to be invisible, and you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was saying, I know how to make myself almost physically smaller so I can kind of like move through a space when I have too much anxiety to really, like, I'll be like, don't look at me, like hat low, like, don't look at me, in and out. Like, I'm short, so I can kind of go underneath most people's eyesight. Like, but I also know when I'm going out in the world like that, and I will try to minimize, like, because I don't want to put that vibration kind of out into it. Because for me, energy it's all about
energy is everything.
Like it is. Like, I can meet someone and know generally who they are just by our first.
Yes.
Sometimes without even words. Like just what they're bouncing off.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, and I love that. I really enjoy being able to read and feel people's energy. And I especially love it doing Reiki because I feel the energy shift in some people. Somebody asked me one time, is there anyone that I could not give Reiki to? I guess personally. And no, it's not, because I feel like if you came in for a reason, okay? I mean, if you came for any other reason, we're really going to be boxing it out. But other than that, more than likely you came for a session for something. So I don't have to think about what I'm feeling, or what is they're saying or not saying. I actually got a good sense of who the person is. And so I'm ready for whatever it is. However, I can give the session. So for me, then it's amazing when I feel that shift or they come out of it and it's like, oh, to me, it's releasing your true higher self. So you might have come in, whatever, with some negative thoughts, some different feelings or whatever. But most people come back, they're like, oh, they're really glad they came. I get to see that shift in them. But being in tune with other people's energies, I pretty much know right away as well. So whether or not in those situations where you get to decide if this interaction continues, right? Whether it be a conversation in a safe way, and I'm like, yeah, we're not continuing this conversation, or whether or not we have to have this conversation. So it kind of puts you on guard or prepares you for how you need to interact with that person.
Well, it's because you don't react, you respond,
Yes.
which I think is. Did it take you a long time to learn that, or have you always had that because of the corrections thing?
Okay,
because corrections, you have to learn how to
react,
because you have to know to de-escalate, I guess. So I mean, is that
so? Okay, you're saying now I know how to respond.
Well, I guess my question is, have you always known that? Like, the difference of when you need to respond versus react?
No. It is, I have been reactionary probably my whole life because of corrections. Because everything is in the moment, in the moment. And especially, I shouldn't even just say corrections, living in New York.
Right.
Living in New York is like, you have to be ready for anything that's going to happen. And I always was. And matter of fact, it was Leah actually that pointed out to me that I was reactionary. I need to calm the fuck down and take a pause and learn to respond and really take things in. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, you've lived your whole life with needing to do something now, because you can de-escalate a situation, but I still have to react to it first. And then I can assess things really quickly. But responding has been a chore. And I think what, my meditation, my Reiki practice, my spiritual practice has allowed me to be able to really assess the situation, pause, to really quickly think about things so that I can respond appropriately and without apology, right? So the reactionary part carried on into my personal life, and so that's the anger. So I always reacted with anger. I mean, just, and then I was drinking too. Oh my God. It was horrible. So being reactionary and drinking and the anger, I wasn't nothing nice. And so learning how to just respond. And now I don't drink, and I do think I'm a much calmer person. And I wasn't always that way. I just learned that.
How long between starting Reiki and stop drinking did you have?
Well, interesting. I stopped drinking in 2018. And so I learned in 2014, but I kept drinking. I decided to stop in 2018. And when I really picked up the practice again was the beginning of 2020. Yeah. And so I think I'd already made a decision with not drinking anymore, but the Reiki has supported that. Even with smoking cigarettes, all of that, because I always went back to those things. Those are things that helped me, that guided me. My best friends, the smoking and the drinking, the numbing, all of that. And so when I started doing Reiki, it has really supported that decision. Like I really love this feeling. I don't want to ever be foggy again, or just not be in that control of my life or managing my life. And that's probably why I didn't stick with it in 2014. Because I remember when I first learned, I slowed down the drinking and I was self-healing myself. And then I went right back to the drinking and only did it every so often or whatever. Because I kind of thought maybe they didn't go together.
Right.
And not that they couldn't, but I just choose now to just, to be sober, and it's probably the best thing.
Did you do it like part of the 12 steps, or did you it's up to you if you want to even share, but
I woke up one day and said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I mean, I drank a lot. My drink of choice is beer. Like, oh my goodness, that's what I normally drank. And every so often, maybe a shot of something. But I didn't realize how much I was drinking until during those rock bottom moments, or not having any finances. Like, how is it possible that I still have money for this? Like, I would get maybe a 6-pack a day or a 12-pack a day, like every day. Like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think I was moving toward stopping. I did have an experience where I think it may have been alcohol poisoning. Like, I think I drank a lot, and then I did probably had a couple of shots of something, because it wasn't just beer. And I remember the next day not feeling hangover-ish. It was something different, something I had never felt, and kind of in and out of consciousness thing. And it's funny because Leah was somewhere, and that's before we actually was house sharing, I think. And she called me and she says, "You okay?" And I said, "It's funny you would call me, because I'm not." And she said wherever she was, she smelled my fragrance. And I was like, oh shoot, I was close to death probably, right? But and then it was like not too long after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Because I realized it was really like that's like I think I'm a really good friend, but then you have those moments where maybe I didn't understand things or I just took it to another level, just all over the place. So yeah, one day I woke up, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Same with the cigarettes. I was like, I've been smoking since I was, I don't know, 10, 11 years old. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
So you're a pretty disciplined person then?
No.
No? Because I feel
Not
like that's, you're just, once you make a decision, you're okay.
No. No. I wish I could say that. No. I
love the honesty though.
Yeah, no. I have an addictive personality. So I don't gamble. If I do, I'm a little more disciplined now. I think, I take this amount and go gamble, but it's probably best I don't. And not usually. I don't know what happened. I think it was just I wanted to make a decision, and I did. And to support that decision, somewhere along the line, I heard something that said, if you keep no other promise, you keep the one to yourself. And with the 4 agreements and all of that and integrity, all these things really started to matter to me. Like, okay, I said I wasn't going to drink anymore. I said that was it. I said it. Okay, I said it. I said it to me. And smoking. I said it to me. I don't want to break that promise. And that's probably what supports it as well. Like, I've broken so many promises to myself, and I don't want to break that. And I really see the benefits of it. So I'm not losing anything. If I was drinking, so why bother? I'd like to say I was really that disciplined. No, it's just I decided to keep this promise, these 2 promises, and because I feel better. And to me, I feel like if I didn't, then I'm going to repeat some lessons. Then I didn't get it, and the drinking one was huge for me. That's a whole different story of the many situations that like I said, everyone has one decision or one choice away from a totally different life, and that's why I say to say that something could never happen to me that I wouldn't have been in prison or whatever. I've been a very, very lucky person, drinking while driving,
Yep.
Everybody thinks they're fine, and at the time, shoot, I can think of many times I probably had my weapon with me. We just getting off work and everybody goes drinking. It's like, oh God, so yeah, no, I learned all those lessons or a vehicle. Oh my goodness. And not hitting anyone. And that's when like the universe is speaking to you. Every accident I've ever been into, someone hit me for some reason. But those that was just me, like I can look back and be like, oh, I remember this one day in Miami, Florida. I had a lot to drink. I was a mile away from my house. And I don't even know what happened. I just know that I wound up being like damn near in the ditch. And I was like, really? So I walked home. I came back to get my car the next day, and I was probably an inch away from a fire hydrant.
Wow. So
it went right past into a ditch. I don't know the speed I was going at, but I could have literally hit this hydrant. And then when I saw the ditch, I was like, wow, I was almost in the swamp. It was so much. And so many times the universe, God has showed up for me in that way. Like, hey, really? And I'd be like, what? But I look back at it now and I'm like, man, the universe gave me some chances. So I want to, I think to be able to, like, not having that to blame it on holds me really accountable. Like, conversations, you get into a conversation with someone. I'm not gonna say that though. You get into a conversation with someone and it's not going well. Yeah. And a person will make you feel like, well, it's because you drink, or they tell you the next day, well, what you said, you can't do it to me anymore. Right. Like I remember what I said. I know what I'm saying now. Like, oh, no, I meant that. Like, I can tell you that was supposed to happen. I don't have to say anymore, well, I was drinking, so I'm not really sure. No, right. I'm very sure. So that supported it too.
That's always a good feeling too.
Oh yeah. Oh,
When someone it's
awesome.
It's part of the 4 agreements and being impeccable with
Yes.
your word, and you know what you said because there's nothing clouding your.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't live that way, but I probably should.
No, I mean, you know what? It comes when it's needed, and if it's for you. I mean, I feel really. It should have happened for me. You know, my father was a correctional officer. He was also a drinker, and he died at 50. He had just retired, right? And so that's the other thing with law enforcement. Like, there's a lot of drinking going on, a lot of stuff going on, and I think making that decision has. I don't say the 50 thing anymore. I stopped saying that. I said, I'm going to be 58 in May, and I feel better than I did probably when I first started corrections years ago. You know, not drinking and not smoking and, you know, less stress. You know, I think that's one of the things that really changes someone in retirement, because if you're still doing those things in retirement, and then you never spoke your truth also. So I think about all those things. If I had never spoke my truth, stopped being who I was in corrections, continued to drink, came out, got a security job, I'd probably be dead now. Mm-hmm. You know, just all those things. So.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what you said earlier when you were putting on the uniform and you're going every day and you're working and you're putting on kind of that version of yourself and that lifestyle. You get caught up into like, that's the only version of me that exists. So then when you retire, you're like, who am I and what do I do? And oh no, you get to just be a new version. Yes. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in like, I'm going to change everything about my life. Like, no, it just change your version a little bit. Yeah. Alter your version a little bit. It's okay to change just a little or a lot, like depending on what's going on in your life.
Or figuring it out. Yeah. Because I thought, I don't know what I thought. I think I just wanted to just change it. Oh, not work anymore. But yet I didn't know who I was, who I wanted to be. And like you said, just knowing that you want to find out, that you want to rediscover, that you might want to reinvent, and that you can do that. You know, that you can decide to slowly go into it. You can decide whatever you want. Right. Just make the decision, take the steps. And yeah, I feel like my life has improved so much. And, you know, yes, I was that person. And some of it was put on a little more, but now I am coming into who I really am, you know, and every day it changes. I mean, I just find out a little bit more, you know, like I said, I love when you said how you just start learning things and it's for you. Right. But then even if it's for you, whether you have a practice of it or not, it winds up being for other people because you've improved upon yourself. You get to share it with other people. You understand people more. And it's just this ripple effect. That's why I say I think you're in a great position to talk to all these people and share what you know and allowing them to share what who they are and you know, you're able to kind of pick at these little things to bring out more. So I thank you so much.
I thank you too. And I hope we get to hear your podcast soon.
Yeah, you should. I hope so. Well, I actually want to do a YouTube thing too. And you're really inspiring me because I feel like I have some stories to tell that I think will help. I feel like I've done so much that it can help anyone. Like at any given time, you know, I think very, very similar to you. It sounds like you've done a lot, been through a lot, seen a lot. And it's like, oh, so that's probably why you get along well with everyone because you understand. You're not just this, you know, you only see one side as someone because you're not one-sided. Like you see, like there's so much to a person.
Yeah, and I think every situation, it's your version, my version, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle. So like when someone's telling me their version, I'm holding space for them and their version, but in my mind, I know there's other versions of it. So like their word is their word, and I'm not going to discredit it, but I'm also not going to say like that's the only way it happened. Right. So when someone else comes to me and they're like, do you know what so-and-so did? Like, no, tell me. Right. And even if that so-and-so has already told me, now I have both versions. Right. And both of them are probably right in some ways. Both
and
of them are probably wrong.
Don't know the truth. Right.
But I was not there, so I cannot speak to what really happened. So like I will hold space for both versions. Yes. And sometimes if someone needs to be like, nah, you were wrong, bro, like, all right, well, you know what I could see in that?
Yes.
Like, if they're looking for that, but if they're not, then sometimes I just let it wash right through me.
Yes.
Like, people will tell me their stories, and some of them I keep, and some of them I just let go. And you gotta, it's like learning the tools that you learned. It's like you take the ones that work and you leave the ones that don't. Like, you take the stories that matter, you let the ones that don't go. Like, do I want to fight with someone over whether or not their car was blue or black? You know, like, no, like, you know, like my uncle would always say, you never let the truth get in the way of a good story. There are some times that you need to let that happen. And then there are other times that you need to be like, well, I'm sure that's not really what happened, but okay. Like, it's a good story, so go for it.
You know, Brene Brown, she said, you know,
I love her.
I love Brene Brown. Anything Brene Brown. I think it was Atlas of the Heart. She said, the best thing that we can do for people is believe them. Like, you know, when you ask someone a question or their story, just believe them, right? We oftentimes start questioning, really, is that the case? Is that what happened? You know, is that really what you feel? Instead of just believe their story, because it's their story to tell. And like you said, it could be other versions, but you're telling me your story. As you and I, we're sitting here now, and I can go talk about it, and you can go talk about it, and it might come out really different or the same, you know, but still, I'm gonna tell you my story, and you say yours. Who is anyone to say that didn't happen? You didn't feel that way. Like, the best thing we can do is just believe each other. Like you said, hold space. At the same time, if someone does ask like your opinion of something, like, I'm not the person to chime in on someone. Yeah, he's a dog. Yeah, leave her. Da da da. I'd be like, So do you think that that maybe you could have had a conversation that would have been more conducive to the relationship, rather than, you know, you just, you know, I don't let people just slander people, you know, or really do them wrong without saying, do you think maybe you could have done that a little better? Or well, instead of telling the newspaper, have you had the conversation yet? You know.
That's one of my favorite. Like, well, have you talked to them?
Yes,
no. Well, you've been sitting here talking to everybody else about it. Why are you not talking to them about it?
Yes.
Like, well, I can't. Well, one of these 8 people you've already told is going back to say something.
Yes.
And now it's not even the version you said. So wouldn't it be better just to do it?
Yes.
Like, why is it so easy to talk to all these people who either, 1, don't know the person, or 2, they do know the person, and you're like,
yes.
If I'm talking to someone about someone, I'm assuming that person's going to go tell the person. Like,
I am too. You know, these people that think that it's our secret, like, especially like being like, I'm so real. Like, I'm going to tell someone, especially we're talking about someone that we all know.
Right.
Be really honest and be like, hey, I can hold this space for you. And I would suggest that you speak with them about it. Just so you know, I'm probably going to tell them, because especially if there's other people, like, they're going to find out that you talk to me. And so why don't you go have the conversation? I had that problem in with corrections. It was my best friend. We worked at the hospital together. She was relieving me. And this officer, I was relieving her. This officer came in and she said, oh, I'm glad it's you, Beckles. I thought you was that bitch. And said, my friend. Ooh. I said, oh. I said, well. And there was 2 guys there. I said, hey, can you give us a minute? And they were like, yeah. I said, hey, let's go downstairs for a minute. So we leave the room. And I said, you know, you're probably the only one in the institution that doesn't know that that's my best friend. And she was like, oh my God, what do you mean? I said, you just called my best friend a bitch. I said, you really didn't know? She's like, no, I didn't. I said, okay. I said, now, 2 things. 1, I need you to know I'm going to tell her. Well, you don't have to. No, I do. You said that in front of a couple other officers. And as much as I'd like to keep the peace, they're going to go back to her and tell her how you talked about her, which is my best friend. I said, everything will be fine. My suggestion to you is, if you have a problem with her relieving you late, then you should have that conversation with her. And in the future, don't just say things like that. She was scared. When I told my best friend, she was like, what? She was going, but the girl did wind up going to her. And then they had a conversation. But you never know who you're talking to.
Right.
And I'm that person that, like, you're talking about a friend of mine? Okay, let's have this conversation. But you need to know they're going to know. Like, I'm not holding a secret for you. And or even someone I just know. Like, you need to talk with this person. I'm not going to get wrapped up in that because that's how things get crazy. You got a group of people and everyone knows about it except for that person. But someone from the group told that person and all you had to do was have the conversation. Yeah. It's called being a grown up. It's called just, being, just being able to communicate with someone
or personal accountability.
Yeah. If you feel some kind of way, then say it to the person, not to all these other people that can't do anything about it. Like just sit down and say, hey, just say, I'm a little uncomfortable with this. Oh, something you said made me feel a particular way. Give that person the opportunity to talk with you, to explain it if they wanted to, but at least to be a part of the conversation. Don't make them part of a conversation. They don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. And then they have to pretend they don't know what's going on. Yeah. And then there's a fake interact. And then it just makes everything weird. And it changes the vibration.
Yep. Changes the vibration. We don't want to do that. No. We want to keep it vibrating as high as we can. And with the ability to raise it when we need to.
Okay, I'm going to have us leave it there because although I don't want to stop talking to you, I know you have other things to do that I have to let you go back to. Like
Thank you
going
so
to see
much.
people and healing them for the rest of the afternoon.
Yes. Actually, I'm doing retail today, Feathered Outlaw. But no, thank you so much. I've had a great time.
Me too.
I hope we can find a way to edit all of that.
I will.
It's a lot of conversation. Thank you so
all
much.
too for joining us, and remember to go find your joy.